What's up, everybody? Thank you for clicking on the link. Fair Play here. Finally about to do my review of Season 2, Episode 10 of Greenleaf, entitled Call Not Complete. Y'all, I know I'm really late, but let me go ahead and get started anyway, because it's better late than never. All right, so Lady May had been trying to call Mavis. So this time she actually leaves a message for Mavis, letting her know when Mac's memorial service is going to be, what time and everything. Not that Mavis is going to show up, because we all know she didn't care nothing about Mac. She didn't like him because she knew he was a pedophile. But anyway, she probably won't be there. So anyway, she leaves a message, but she also extends an olive branch to Mavis, telling her that basically she wants to make amends with her. I mean, now that Mac's dead, all they have is each other, and they should work out their differences, even though they've had years of trouble. Things hadn't been good between them, but maybe now it's time to rectify or fix their relationship. All right. So the next scene, you see Grace. She spent the night with Darius, and you notice that she's not sleeping in her bed when they first show her, but come to find out, it wasn't no hanky-panky going on. He actually slept on the sofa. So when she got up the next morning, she bounces in there to him, and he's sitting there doing some work on his laptop. And she's like, "What you doing?" And he tells her that he's doing some work. He's responding to some emails. And at this time is when he tells her that he may actually be moving for a job opportunity in New York City. And so Grace is, of course, visibly mad about this, or visibly upset. You can see she's a little bothered by it, but she doesn't really say anything at that moment. And he asks her if she's going to church. So obviously it's Sunday morning, and she tells him no, she's not going to church because she doesn't feel like being subjected to the ridicule and sneers of the people, considering what's happened between her and Mac. So okay, so he offers to get her some coffee. So he gets up to go in the kitchen and make the coffee. When he comes back with the coffee, she is actually getting dressed. And he obviously thought that she was going to stay a little while longer. So he's like, "I thought you weren't going to church." And she said, "No, I decided that I'm going to go down and check and watch Sophia doing her little, I think it's called the Little Saints class." Yeah, she said she's going to go down there and watch her. So it's obvious that she probably changed her mind about staying the day with him after he told her he was thinking about going to New York. It's obvious that she probably didn't want to get attached to him. At least that's what I perceived. So as she's on her way out the door, she asks him, she says, "So are you going to take the job in New York?" And he was like, "I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Why do you ask?" And she says, "Well, I just want to know if we're breaking up." And he's like, "Breaking up? I didn't know we were together." And she goes, "Well, don't do me like that. We're something. We're definitely something." She says, "I know we've been hanging out, but we've only been hanging out, but we're definitely something." So he tells her, "Well, that's why I went ahead and let you know about the possibility of me going to New York, so that it won't be any surprises on my end." So then he proceeds to just tell her about how his boss, his editor, basically wants him to get her story for the paper. And she gets a little bit offended because she's thinking that that's all Darius wants is just her story. And he assures her that no, he doesn't. He's like, "Nah, that's not what it is." He says, "If you don't want to talk, you don't have to." And so she calms down. She relaxes her face muscles at this point. And she tells him, "Well, if you decide to take the job in New York, you're going to let me know." And so he tells her, "Yes, you'll be the first person to know." Okay, so then the next scene, you see Bishop and Lady May. They actually are outside walking. They are across the street on the property, and Jacob is out there actually preaching to a group of people. Not only is he preaching, but he eventually starts handing out hamburgers to the people. So on episode 9, the bear that happened 2 weeks ago, he actually had... When he was talking to Clarissa, if y'all remember the conversation they had when she was making that sandwich for him, he was trying to decide what his next move was going to be because, of course, the bishop had told him he don't need a co-pastor. So he's got to decide what he's going to do. So he'd been praying about it. And when Clarissa passed him the sandwich, he got a revelation. And he remembered him saying he knows what to do now. And obviously, what he feels like God has led him to do is to feed people, to preach the word and to feed people, not only with food, but the word. Okay. And so he's doing just that. So when the bishop comes over and confronts him he tells Jacob, he says, your mama's in a bad way and she needs you to be there for her in any way that you possibly can. And Jacob tells her, he said, Dad, I'll go by the house and check on her, and I'll go to that little memorial service that she's having for Mac. But he tells the bishop that he's not going to stop living his life. Basically, he could care less about Mac being dead too. So May comes up after this, and she asks, because Clarissa is standing there helping him pass the hamburgers out at this point. And May comes over and she asks him if Clarissa and him have learned anything from what Basie has gone through. And so Clarissa says, well, he's not Basie. So then Jacob tells him that the name of his church, he calls it the Real Church of Memphis. So the bishop reassures he turns to his grandkids as him and Jacob and them are having this conversation. He looks over at the grandkids and he tells them that this mess that they're going through has nothing to do with them. And I was glad he did that. He let the kids know it doesn't change anything between him and them. So anyway, the bishop tells Jacob that May is hurt and that her pain, because she's walked away at this point. And he tells her, he says, your mama's hurt and pain goes a lot deeper than what you know. And he was talking about her being abused by her father, Henry. But he didn't say specifically what her hurt and pain was. He just let Jacob know there's a lot of things going on with May that he doesn't know about. And at this point, Clarissa is very inquisitive. But the bishop tells him, he says, you're going down the same path as Basie. And the bishop tells Jacob that he'll regret his decision, and he turns around and he actually leaves at that point. Now, Clarissa is standing there talking to Jacob, and she's trying to figure out what the bishop meant when he spoke on May's deep issues and pain. So now the bishop knows he's the only one other than Mavis, or the only one that knows what abuse May went through. Okay? So then the next thing you see, Gigi is actually at Sophia's class at church, and she's basically standing there spectating and watching how good she conducts her class and how good she interacts with the kids. She's talking to the kids about faith and everything, and she's using cupcakes with these trick candles to show them how when you extinguish a flame and how it comes back, and she was just really teaching a good lesson in children's church that day. So then back at the church, May is actually walking down the hall with Charity. And she's asking Charity if she's heard anything from Kevin. And Charity tells her no. So then at this point, May goes off. She goes on this rant because she just can't understand how Kevin could just walk away from his child and everything. And she asks Charity if there's anything she could do to help. Do she want her to help her look for him? And Charity tells her, no, I got it. I'll take care of it, Mom. Everything's going to be all right. So at that point, they show the next scene is Zora. Zora's at home with Jacob and Clarissa and her little brother, and they're sitting around the table. She has actually helped Jacob to set up a Go Help Me page. That's the TV version of the GoFundMe account. But she's helped them set up a Go Help Me page to raise money for this new church that he's trying to conduct. So Clarissa tells him that she thinks he should actually go on television and make some money. But Jacob then already told her what he thought of that. He tells her that he thinks that they should start out small and to take things slowly. And see, y'all know that Clarissa is kind of bougie. She wants to be like Lady May. So when he tells her this, even though she smiles in his face, they show her face frowning up. She's not happy with them being broke and poor and things like that. She wants them to, because she's already told him that they can't really afford to do what they want to do on her salary, which I don't understand. Her being the head mistress of a private school, you would think she makes good money, but I guess she doesn't make enough, So she's looking kind of pitiful. She's having a hard time. She's having a problem. And I think in the future, something is going to go down with Clarissa, because anytime you got a woman that wants her husband to be big shot and famous and well known, and she wants to be uppity, it could create some issues in the marriage, and some things could happen outside her marriage as well. So y'all keep your eye on Clarissa, okay? So anyway, Charity is actually calling Kevin. And she leaves him an angry message about how she's having to do everything since he's gone. I don't know what everything is, because all she has is one child, okay? But she's talking about she's got to do everything. And basically, she's probably just mad because she can't run back and forth to Tennessee like she wants to while Kevin is gone. At least that's what she thinks. So, excuse me, y'all. But yeah, she's mad with him because she ain't being able to do what she got to do. She got to stay at home with that baby. So she's mad. She wants, like I said, she wants him to be there at her convenience. That's what I see when I look at Charity. She's really upset because Kevin is not there at her every beck and call so she can go see Jabari, all right? So then they show Sophia. So Zora had told Sophia to help her find her new boyfriend, so Sophia is doing just that. She sets Zora up, or tries to set Zora up with this new guy, and they go bowling one night. And you look around this bowling alley that they're at, it's real clean and serene, and the way everybody's dressed so nice and churchy, and all these kids look like just good kids, and they dress like 1992 to me. If you watch this scene, it's real interesting because it's kind of a throwback scene. You don't see kids date this sterile anymore, so it was kind of refreshing to see, But anyway, Zora obviously doesn't like the little boy, but he seems to like her. She's missing Isaiah, of course. And throughout the night as they're, having their little fun, doing their little bowling and everything. I won't get into details about it because it doesn't really matter at this point. We just know that they went on a double date. Zora does not like the boy. Zora figures out that Sophia has told her boyfriend about what Isaiah did to her at the studio, and Zora gets mad about it. I mean, she's pissed with Sophia. Sophia tell her, well, that's my boyfriend. And of course, Zora was like, well, you don't tell everything about your cousin. You don't sell your cousin out for a chemistry test. You know what I mean? And she was right. Sophia should not have told that. That was personal between Zora and Isaiah. So anyway, then they show Charity going to see Aaron one night, and I'm pretty sure Aaron thought she had found out about what him and Kevin had done because he was looking real fretful. But then she basically tells him that she wants him to help her find Kevin because everything at home and everything at church is out of order, and his Lady May needs him to come back. So of course Aaron agrees to help her find him because he miss him too. Anyway, then they show Gigi and Darius. They're actually sitting down having a video chat. She's at home and he's at his house, and they're talking over video, and he's telling her about his New York job proposition. And it sounds like Darius has decided to take the job at that particular point, or he's really thinking seriously about taking it. And he tells Gigi that she can come visit whenever she wants and that she can move back to New York when Sophia graduates. And so Gigi is like, nah, she don't believe in that long distance kind of dating. She thinks they don't work. So she telling, she's basically feeling some kind of way about him, talking about he gonna take this job and that he might take this job and about long distance dating. And so she basically ends the video call. She runs every time something is not going the way she wants. She runs from the situation. So she ends the call kind of abruptly. He was trying to stay on a little bit longer, but she was like, nah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. So anyway, they get off of their video chat. Then the next thing you see, the bishop is walking through the church telling him and May, and they're actually having a good conversation, and he's telling her about the plans that he has for his 7-part series coming up called From the Pit to the Palace, which could turn into another book for him. So May is real ecstatic and she's pleased with him. I mean, this is one of those very loving moments between May and the bishop. Like, they have a lot of them, and I love seeing the two of them together because it represents strong marriage, and I like that. And so this is one of those times, and May lets him know that she's trying to find a new outreach director to replace Kevin. The bishop invites May on a lunch date because they don't go out very often. And she accepts it, of course. And then the bishop starts doting on her and complimenting her. And he tells her how happy he is to have her as his life partner. And she's like, ooh, you must have slept real good last night. And he said, yeah, I'm feeling real good. And as the bishop heads to his office, and he asks, after they get through having this conversation and he's complimenting her and everything, they split up for a moment with the plans and the intention to go to lunch that day. So when he gets back to his office, he comes up on that secretary. I think her name is, I can't think of that girl's name, but he walks and he asked the secretary about a $10,000 check, and he wanted to know had it cleared the bank. And she told him, yes, it did a few minutes ago. So he goes in and he tries to call the donor. Her name is a Rochelle Cross. He wants to thank her. And he winds up inviting this woman to lunch with him and May. Now, he's never met Rochelle Cross at this point, okay? So he don't know what she looked like, don't know nothing about her. But he wanted to thank her, so he invited her to lunch, left her a message and whatnot. And then he goes and tells Lady May about the change of plans from a party of 2 to a party of 3. But May at this point is telling him she's not feeling very sociable right now because Mac's ashes had just been shipped to the church as we speak. she was just getting them, and they put in a bad mood. And so she told him, she says, nah, I don't think I feel like being sociable right now. And so, of course, the bishop, being the good husband that he is, he told her that he'll just cancel the lunch date. And she told him, no, you go ahead and meet with the woman. Go ahead and thank her. Don't end it because of me. She said, I'll just stay here and you go ahead. And so she encourages him to go on with his lunch date. And he agrees. So the next thing is that he decides to go